Well, welcome today, everyone. My name is Kahlab B. Martin, and I'm today's host. This podcast is powered by Kahlab, and today we are talking about the future. Every single episode, we talk about the future. Today, we're talking about the future of the creator economy. We have an amazing guest, founder of Jem Social, a brilliant creator, a brilliant builder, Bree Flemings.
Thanks for having me on. You know, it's so crazy. I'm so used to like directing the convo that I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I'm a guest. Like,
For for sure, you got to get your flowers. But first, like I would love you can just tell everybody about like who is
mhm.
Bree, like walk us
Yeah.
through.
Bree is a hilarious, caring, uh, independent, but very, very community based creator. And what does that mean? That means that I like to really include everyone in the conversation. Like, I really care about people. And I am a previous DJ. I won't say that I'm retired yet. I really think I'm going to end up DJing again, probably going towards the fall.
Hmm.
But in the meantime, I've paused DJing just because I'm focusing on Gem Social, as you
Hmm.
all know. And with all of those, priorities that go into building the team, building the platform, building the, moving the mission forward, I have to make sure that I'm prioritizing my time on the right things. So currently full time on Gem Social and also a scout at Fundmates recently, which is a platform that invest into YouTubers who are already monetizing their channel. So
So it's safe to say that like you have your hands all up in the creator economy.
it's all up in there. And, someone had recently told me, like, how do you have the time to pick up that role with Fundmates? And I was telling them, well, realistically, it's not a job that you clock into 9 to 5 or, even part time. Like, this is about your social capital and the people to connect to these deals. It's no different really than being a VC scout, which is the same thing. Like, you're connecting your network to these investors, and realistically, just like anything else, it's referral based. So when you pass along a referral, people are most likely to take it serious because they trust you. So Fundmates trust me with anyone that I refer over to them. So it doesn't take time. Even if I'm here and I meet a YouTuber and I feel like they're a perfect fit for the criteria,
Mm.
it's not something I clocked into. So, but my hands are very tied into the creator economy just because Gem itself is a huge, a huge reason why I'm in a lot of like at panels or speaking engagements or events or conferences, festivals. Now we got picked up for not one but two festivals for the summer. So yeah, I'm really all up in it, and I can't wait to share just some of my insights of what I'm noticing in the creator economy, where it's going, and just some advice and stuff just to give people as they enter this economy.
For sure, for sure. Before we get dive into the future, I think it's so important that every creator's journey is different, and
Hmm.
everybody arrives to whatever level they're at
Yeah.
a different path. And for you, you said you started as a DJ. Like, did you go? Like, what did you go to school for? Like, walk me
Hmm.
through this
Yeah.
becoming to this person.
Awesome. So I let me step before going to school. Right, I became a DJ prior to me going to college. I actually
Okay.
started DJing when I was 16 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. It's a while back, and me DJing was the introduction to the creator economy. Instagram was still fairly new. TikTok wasn't a thing, but Vine was.
So, what year was this?
So I was 16, I'm born 96. So 2012. Yeah.
2012. Okay.
2012 was when I picked up my first DJ DJ gig, number one, but even like just my first little turntable that was like $70 and then paid like $90 for a pair of speakers. And I had this interface in between the speakers and my little turntable. So yeah, like all in all, I spent about, give or take, 180 $200 to start DJing. And I actually DJed for my mom's nonprofit first, which made me back the money that I had put out, because I always had a love for music, and I come from a very musical family. I have family that was in musicals, like actresses out of New Orleans, rappers, singers. One of my cousins, I won't say for now, is actually pretty known in Tallahassee as a rapper. So just like we just have a lot of musical talent. And for some reason, I was not blessed with singing. I would have been out here singing. So, but I do love music and just hearing a solid transition. You know, growing up in an area like Philly, they don't play when it comes to DJing. Like they do not play. Like they are so solid. Like they bring so much energy, and maybe because I'm biased, like I feel like Philly DJs bring a lot more energy than a lot of DJs in the U.S. in general. So I feel like I grew up in an area where that was really taken serious. So I enjoyed learning how to DJ as a teenager. And I also saw the passion that goes into it, and being in living in an area with a tri-state with Jersey, Philly, Delaware, like all that right there. You get to really check out three different states, even if you live in one, because they're all 30 to an hour, an hour away. So you are really learning how to like, you're really learning about crowd control, like, and if people even like the way you spin and stuff. So I got I got into the creator economy at a really young age, and now 13 years into the game, I've seen how getting booked evolves. I see how why content is so important. I see why branding is so important. Like your talent is just not enough anymore. I
Hmm.
notice. So,
So,
and then I went to school for computer science. I forgot they asked about what my major was. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science. I have a minor in marketing, and then I have a master's in application development. Go Sharks! Nova Southeastern, Fort Lauderdale.
so I think one of the things, some of my favorite creators, my favorite builders, even
Mm-hmm.
myself, it's like a blend of being able to be like super creative,
Mm-hmm.
being able to be, you know, tech technologically advanced. Like
Mm-hmm.
you have that like that side, but then also you have a business side of you.
Yeah.
And when you bring them all together, I feel like that's how you get a product, an application like Jem Social,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like you're bringing together. Okay, how do we get a job, a gig,
Right.
opportunity? But then also I can showcase my creativity, meet other creators, and then also it's like, well, you got the tech side on lock.
Yeah.
So it's like you're really like a superhero.
Thank you. I do feel like I'm a superhero. I feel like I'm out here trying to save these creators. So, um, I do agree. Like, I am 100% grateful that I went to college and that I got to learn about tech in general, because nowadays you can definitely go online, and yes, you have Claude and Chat GPT and all these things that I applaud them on, but those things are supposed to help you advance in what you already know, right? So me just understanding the fundamentals of computer programming, the fundamentals of project management, the fundamentals of building a solid team now on the tech space, and really running a project, end to end, it does make it easier for me to have these technical conversations with my developers, my technical conversations with my investors, but also having the real life experience to me is more important than anything else nowadays, especially because we're recording this in 2025. If you are actually suffering from the problem that you are trying to solve, I don't even think it matters if you have technical experience anymore. That's my opinion. Like truly. And I, obviously with Kahlab, look at you. Look at what you built, brick and mortar wise,
Yeah.
You actually saw the problem that you were solving for just the local Houston community. So of course you're able to take it global, and you don't have to have the technical experience because you deeply know the problem and you know how to solve it. And as long as you know how to communicate that through and through, a programmer who doesn't understand your problem has nothing, like, you have no competition.
Because look, let me tell you, today we actually are living in the problem currently as we speak. So just before we filmed this podcast, I was in North Houston. I had a client that I was working with, and I literally texted Bree. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to be there at this time. We can start around like 3:30. It was scheduled
Mm-hmm.
for 3." And so I basically just drove 45 minutes to come to Kahlab Social here on like the
Mm-hmm.
southwest side of Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was driving in my car, I was like, I have a studio on my platform that was 5 minutes from me. I could have just been like, hey, can we meet here?
Right.
And my whole problem would have been, so I would say 45 minutes, all stuff like that. And so it's like, I live in my problem so much that I can, like you said, I can
Yep.
articulate it. Now for you, talk to me about like Jem Social. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what problem is really being solved, and like how are you
Yeah.
bringing the culture, how are you bringing the economy forward with Jem?
Yeah. So right now, let's just talk about the economy, right? The economy is horrible with finding opportunities in general. And then when it comes to the creator world, it's even harder. See, you can go on Indeed and LinkedIn and Monster back then and Snag a Job and all these platforms to find those more corporate jobs and even down to like those more local small business jobs as well. But when it comes to looking for creators, people are a lot more specific, very referral based, very much I'm going to post on this particular platform because I feel like I'll get an actual solid applicant coming through. Like they're not looking for a mass amount of people to apply for creative roles because they're not looking for mass at all. They're just looking for the right person down to the brim. Gem is helping solve that where if a brand is looking for a specific creator for a brand opportunity or for a gig opportunity or even down to a job opportunity, they're going to utilize our platform because they know that we have vetted talent, talent with even reviews on there at this point, a solid user base, and our branding also shows that we really care about our creatives and what they have. We also have the health insurance factor on there, and now we're rolling out a credit based system out there where where creators on our platform can also raise their credit scores and stuff. So just the fact that we have so many benefits on our platform, they already feel like we got them, right? And that they can just come on here and find just the right talent. Now, for the creator side, again, there's a bunch of hidden opportunities out here. For example, Rock Nation is hiring for a digital day-to-day person on their artist team. Remote opportunity starting from 80K to 120K. How would you have found that? It's not on Instagram. It's not on Indeed because they don't post it there. It's just in a network shared to us and we were able to post that.
Hmm.
So, just the fact that people can find things that they can't find every day on our platform for a very minimal cost is solving that problem. And recently someone just got a job
Hmm.
and was like, you could take my money because what is $10 if I just landed a six-figure job and can still find brand deals and gig opportunities? Like we're covering three sections here: the gigs, which could be something like someone maybe you have a producer come today to help shoot the podcast, right? Or it can be a part-time role or a full-time role on there that you could find to supplement your income in general. And then even down to the brand opportunities, like when you got booked for Triller for a
Literally,
quick photo,
literally,
quick video.
I was literally on a platform for 5 minutes and got an opportunity for five hundred
You've already
dollars.
had a few bookings, and they've been different though, right?
Yeah,
One was a
everything is
brand,
different. Yeah.
one was a gig opportunity, and not that you need to look for a job because you actually provide more opportunities, but still, like it's just the fact that you don't have to only settle for one kind of opportunity. And what separates us from our competitors is that like backstage is only gigs, right? Indeed and LinkedIn, for example, are only jobs. But the fact that you can get brand deals, jobs, and gigs is like, wow, it's a game changer.
Hmm. And but that's like the thing is like moving like the creator economy forward
Mm-hmm.
and like making the access to these opportunities like just available literally right here because I do know like I remember when I was applying for jobs at one point in time it took me a whole year to get a job, but it's because
Mm-hmm.
I was like really just applying all these different platforms trying to
Yeah.
find it. And it's like as I'm starting to like grow in my creative ability or even know what like this is what I
Yep.
really want, being able to just have one platform as a creative that can say, hey, look, if I want to be a producer, I can go for here for this. If I
Right.
want to get, gig opportunities, I can look on here for this. So I think you're a part of the future.
Yes.
And it's like I'm just so
Yes.
thankful and blessed to even just be sitting next to you right now. You know what I'm saying? World changer.
I love it. And it's only going to get deeper because now that we allow not just the gigs and the brands on brand opportunities on there, but even down to the jobs, we actually have had an influx of gigs and opportunities on there now. We've grown over 400% on the opportunity board since we allowed for all these kind of different opportunities to be posted. And it's at the point where we predict that there will be 50 to 100 opportunities a day
Hmm.
added there in the next month. And what does that mean? Now we can personalize it by the user eventually because we'll have enough data. So let's say you do sign up as a content producer and you're looking for maybe not brand opportunities, maybe they just want to look for gig and jobs. Cool. You can personalize your experience and that's all you will see and that's all you'll be notified for. And now you know where to focus your time rather than coming on there and kind of scrambling through a bunch
Hmm.
of opportunities and filters. Like it would just be dished out to you in a more organized way and help you focus on that. Because what was the job that you applied for that took you a year that to get?
And the thing is, though, the reason why it took me so long to get a job is because I truly did not know what I wanted. I applied to
Yep.
this job, small, then I applied to this job, medium, and I was just
Yeah.
really throwing myself in a hat.
Yeah.
And it's like as I started to do that, I got more narrowed to my
Mhm.
focus, and then finally something opened up. But I think, like you said, having that customization piece and
Yeah.
say, give me every single thing that is in this direct field so that
Yeah.
I can go kill it. So I can go put my focus.
Exactly.
And I love that book, The One Thing. I think by like Gary Keller or something like that. I
Mhm.
don't know his name. Don't quote me on that. But the book is called The One Thing, and it just talks about how, like, once you put your focus on that one thing,
Right.
it speeds up the process of actually getting it. So
Yeah, I agree. Like, and that's another thing about Gem. Like, just like any other platform, like you need to make sure that you are selling yourself and are really solid at something. Because let's say a DJ is on there and all a brand sees is that they just DJ. If a DJ applies to be a content producer, they're automatically going to turn them away because they're like, well, it's cool that you're a DJ and great, but like, what does this have to do with our platform, right?
mhm.
What we're hiring for. So that's why we want to personalize it because we could also go just based off of what you already have on your profile and take that information and just match you. And we already have suggested matches. But I always tell people be very intentional about how you present yourself online and even on the platform because we can match you with opportunities. As soon as someone posts an opportunity, they automatically have suggested matches. So if you're not appearing on that, or if you haven't gotten a gig by now, it's likely because you weren't intentional about your page. And we're really going to be focusing on that as we go into Q2 about being more intentional with how you present yourself online, on Gem, and just keywords because just like any other platform, it really does matter. And I feel like a lot of us forget that. So
Mhm.
it's good that you went through that experience and realized here's what I need to drill down on because now the next thing you need to drill down on is what kind of clients you want to attract. And luckily for us, we're kind of in a way just like a free lead generation because you have direct access to sell yourself to these people. And these platforms that are posting, it's not like they have 700 people applying. At most, some of them only take 50 to 80 applicants and you're one of them and you can figure out how to stand out and that's your job not ours but we gave you the access to do that.
Yeah, I agree. And another thing that you're doing, I think is something amazing, is when it comes to like pay transparency.
Yep.
When it comes to creatives, like you have this new series that you just dropped where you're
Mm-hmm.
like interviewing creatives in the cities,
Yeah.
Houston, New York, and all these different
Mm-hmm.
cities, and like
Yep.
asking them, how much do you make? What's your profession? So that way we
Mm-hmm.
can have pay
Yep.
transparency. And I think that's a part of the future is like
Yes.
normalizing because we normalize how much, or we understand how much people get paid for other jobs.
Yes.
But creators, we'd be like, I think I'm supposed to charge 100, or
Uh-huh.
should I charge 500?
Look,
And tell me about that. Like, talk
we're
to me.
pushing boundaries. I absolutely love how the street interview series is going already. We have already shot and filmed over 30 of them but we've only released about three and they've already accumulated in total of all the platform like all platforms that they're shared on close to like 30,000 views and it's because we're doing something that's not normal, right? And I get the creators that are like, I don't want to share it, but I'm pushing their boundaries because I'm like, well, why don't you want to share it? Do you not want to share it because other people don't share it? Do you not want to share it because you're embarrassed of what you're making? Or do you not want to share it because, well, we're in a public place and maybe you make a lot of money, you just don't want to get robbed after. I mean, because we were in New York. One of the people was Usher's stylist, for example. So, and we were on the train. So in a certain area like that, we can understand. But 98% of the videos have the transparency on there, and people end up feeling really great after they film it, even if that's not how they felt before. And that's what you have to do as a creator. You're supposed to push boundaries, and that's what makes this all worth the while. But I will say this, had I known how much a DJ is supposed to charge back then by looking at videos like this, like short form videos showing like or saying, "Hey, yeah, I charge about anywhere from 300 to 800 per gig depending on these factors," I would have known not to be charging $50 an hour back then. And that's why we have to be transparent. And let's also talk about the fact that a lot of these other platforms like American Income, Salary Transparency, School of Hard Knocks, they are very transparent about what they make. And those people in those careers now know how to position themselves. Because even when I was a project manager, I saw on one of these platforms that a project manager was making at least between 95 to 140 given their experience. I was only making 55,000. So now I have a big wage gap from 40,000 to 70,000 plus, all because I did not know. So if we can do that for creators and be transparent what they're charging and what other people are making, then they can even compare their videos and be like, dang, I don't charge anything like the guy that we dropped today, who has almost 8,000 followers, good engagement and good content. But somebody that has less than 8,000 followers is already charging 200 to 400 per post. So now it'll have him thinking, yeah, it's time for me to start charging. Like, I've been overthinking it, because a lot of these creators, especially content creators and influencers, feel like they shouldn't start charging until they have 10,000 followers. And that's absolutely not true.
Okay, so that's one step into the future.
Yep.
Is pay transparency.
Pay transparency. And that's why we have pay transparency on our board, because you don't have to apply to something you don't feel like is worth it. But there are opportunities on there that some people are like, you know what? I am going to apply to be an influencer at that festival because I get a free stay, I get VIP, and this will help me learn how to shoot content for other people. And you'd have nothing to lose, because what they going to do, say they don't like it? It's fucking free. Like, so you get to at least have experience working with brands and then work your way up. But for those who are really experienced and want something like the Coachella campaign, where you get paid thousands of dollars and get free tickets and get free Uber credits and etc. Well, now you can say, well, I worked with this festival, I worked with this company, this brand, all of this that is a great fit for your campaign. This is why I am a great fit. And now you walk away with thousands of dollars in your pocket and a great experience. So, but the transparency is on there, rather than those other sites that just make you apply and you got to find out how much later. That's absolutely ridiculous.
So, okay, what's the next step? So we got pay transparency. What's the next step?
So there's pay transparency. There's obviously the opportunities that's on the platform as well. But I would say the next step for like being on the platform is also the connectivity piece. One thing that we had on the platform was like allowing creators to match with each other, to get to know each other. And temporarily we have removed that because we want to restructure it to match the creators' needs. So when talking to the community and going to different speaking engagements, like the creators still want to get to know each other, but they want it more personalized. Like, so for example, I have a podcast. So when I get to New York or I get to LA and I'm using Kahlab, what's next for me is I want to work with a producer. I don't always want to come up with ideas. It would be great if I can come to the set, the producer or whomever at the set already has it set up for me, so I could just sit down, go over the topic and the conversation with the producer, but have someone that's already have it taken care of so I can just come. What would be a good way to do that? One, of course, going on the app and seeing who's in that area, but even better if I can just connect with these people globally, especially because I go to Paris, I go to New York, I'm starting to go to LA, I go to Miami often. It would just be cool if I'm on the app and connecting with just those kind of people, because that's what I'm looking for. So, but in another world, maybe an event producer travels a lot and wants to start connecting with more DJs, like just on a connection basis, not even on I'm going to hire them right away, but just like have those people in your network, build up your social capital, the people that you know, because if this doesn't work out, now I got someone else that I can call and be like, hey man, I'm having this event in Houston and, I want to mix it up a bit. I want to have like a DJ battle or whatever it may be. But because you already have those connections, right, you can do that. So we're going to restructure how people connect with one another. So that way it's different from what we had in the past, which was just the matching, but more personalized and actually helping people take a step forward. That's the biggest part of the app that I love. It's like, I want to get more people to take a step forward in their career and also in their network. So that part we're going to be focusing on going into the summer. But for now, like as we're scaling, right now we're just meeting the needs of the customers and just giving them more opportunities on the platform.
So it's like we're getting people connected to more opportunities.
Yep.
Pay transparency. Now we're getting the people connected.
Yep.
Now, where does the future go 5-10 years from now? Talk to me about that.
I would say 5 or 10 years from now, it definitely is going to be not just a what seems like a job board, because even no matter if you put brand deals, gig deals, or jobs, like people are going to look at it as a job board. But I actually want it to be a social app, which is why we went from being called Jem to Jem Social, because we want this to be a very social platform, like people following each other, connecting with each other, communicating with each other, having, sharing events with each other. Like we want this to become a social platform in the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay, cool. I'm all about the social aspect,
Yeah.
You know.
But people also forget, this app isn't just for creators. Like we also have a product line for brands too, right? Of course, that's how we get the opportunities on here. And something that we're rolling out is allowing brands to book influencers as a way to advertise, because that's another thing that I'm noticing in the creator economy. Let me give you an example. An influencer posted about Jem about a little over a week ago, unwillingly. Like we didn't pay her. She just happened to like the platform and shared it on her threads. And that night we got over 250 signups, and 10% of them became subscribers. So that to me was like, wow, that happened in one night, and I paid nothing. And it doesn't mean that you just don't pay influence or anything, but it just shows, what if I did pay her and she actually had really intentionally like created like a platform, not a platform, an ad about Gem or whatever it may be. I can only imagine if that would have turned that into 1,000, registered users, and even maybe 200 paying subscribers, right? Like, so it has me thinking like, this is why influencer marketing is a thing, because you get in front of this influencer's audience and you can see how the conversions come back. So we're rolling out a part of our platform where brands can sign up, and they have two options. They have a $49 a month option where they can find gifted influencers that match their brand too. Like we want to make sure that that's very, very, very known. We will have an interest based platform that matches your brand. So Kahlab, for example, it probably would make sense if a creator director talked about your brand, like Amon Ellie. She's really known out here. So if she had talked about Kahlab, and because she already collaborates with studios and stuff, that makes sense. So we're working on that, and that one's actually out now. And then we have a $99 a month plan where you can book a certain amount of gifted and paid influencers for your campaign, and you can see who's getting you the most conversions back. So let's say I have 10 people talking about Gem, 3 of them are gifted and 7 of them are paid. I will be able to see on a dashboard who is the top performing creator and who I want to keep putting money in their pockets, because just like that girl that talked about us, I would be able to see that this converted into this amount of, downloads, or more so just conversions. Like this is how many people clicked on Jem Social from her link, and also talking about us, how many views did this bring in, how many comments, engagement, etc. I'll see that all in one platform rather than spending a lot of time adding stuff to a spreadsheet and clicking on a bunch of stuff. It'll be all automated, and that's $100 a month. And that helps people make data-driven decisions instead of just relying on Facebook ads and hoping that's going to work and winging it. And we only focus on startups and small businesses where you don't have the money to just wing it. You need to be intentional from the jump. Yep.
Okay, dope. You know what? I feel like we've touched on different parts of how you're being a leader in this like creator economy. What's next for you? Like,
I would say what's next for me is, well, we are doing the street interview series. And then we have some other content ideas where we are using content as an advertising tool. We are thinking about experimenting with ads just because we have a B2B side to Jem Social, which is, us connecting to the brands. And sometimes that is not the way that we connect to our creators. So we are starting to experiment, like, how can we tweak this for advertising towards brands versus advertising towards creators. But we have a lot of different like series that we're going to be rolling out. As we're recording this, it's going into April. So summer is coming. We're starting to partner with different festivals, which I think is going to be great because we are starting to be like partners and sponsors. So we're starting to get into getting in front of a mass audience, like 3,000 people a day at a time. Like that's going to be exciting as well. I would also say that we're just taking on greater challenges. We are expanding our team. We are so blessed because Blackstone is sponsoring 3 full-time interns for us this summer. So just really focusing on team building and figuring out how do we maximize that investment, even though it's not our money coming out. These interns are going to be paid full time. These are 3 full-time people I've never had in my life. I'm the only person who is full time with Jem. So to go from 1 full-time person and then some contractors to now 4 full-time people by the summer, you have to be prepared because, like, I have to figure out how that can turn into making Jem hit like 100,000 downloads over the summer. So I would say just preparing to be a better leader, being, a better, having a better routine for myself, not being scrappy, like really being intentional. And also just getting into events. Like I know we have like partnered events and such, but we do need to start being more intentional with our events and stuff so we can attract the audience that we want, because now that we know we have product market fit, because we grow every single day, we have not declined once. Like we have subscribers, we have subscribers every single day. We have new downloads every single day from different areas, and now New York is our top market. They just blew Miami out the water. We have to figure out how are we going to make that team, that those people happy, and also just learning more about data in general, like how to read data, so that way if we see that we have a bunch of New York influencers, then obviously we're not going to prioritize having photographer gigs on there, right? We would prioritize having influencer gigs on there. So just being more data driven as well as a whole team is going to help us. So those are just the next steps. And then from then, we will figure out what features to prioritize so our users can be happy.
Oh, that is amazing. So now, thank you so much for just taking the time to just sit with me and talk. And so today we talked about the future of the creator economy, and we have the future right here. Mm-hmm. So I just want to say thank you so much.
Yeah, and I do want to add something, just because I know some people might want to know a little bit more about the future. I do want to add something that I said on a speaking gig that needs to be said here, especially as creators, is that I really encourage you guys, in the world of AI and AI creators now and AI influencers and AI this, AI that, that you really remain authentic. And if you don't know what that looks like, I need you guys to take a step back and realize, who are you? Like, genuinely, who are you? What is your personality? What do you bring to the table? What are you really, really good at? So that way you know how to connect with your audience online. Because as the world is growing, everyone is an influencer, from nano influencers with a couple hundred followers to a couple thousand to hundreds of thousands. Like, it is getting very, very obvious on who doesn't have a good audience. People used to get away with buying fake followers, fake engagements, fake fake comments, these groups that are trying to do engagement farming. Like, there are tools out here that shows that you are completely fake. So I really, really encourage you that if you see this, that you work on building an authentic audience, because brands do not care if you have 100,000 followers anymore, because they need to know, what does your audience look like? If I'm a beauty brand, like Style Seat, for example, has an opportunity that they're putting up for content creators. They want to get in front of, obviously, the beauty or lifestyle creators, and they want to see, how are you engaging with your audience, and then they can cut the check. But if you have fake content, or it's very obvious that you're just trying to all of a sudden put up beauty content to get this, like, it's just fake. Be authentic. Stick to what you know, and the brands are going to have the money for you. But if you're just switching over and over and over, and also buying engagement, buying likes, buying followers, it's so obvious. There are tools for free where they can just put your Instagram or your TikTok in, and it can say 90% of this is not authentic. And we are adding that to Jem too, because brands have the right to know if your followers or engagement is fake. And then they'll take a deeper look to see if it even matches the campaign that they're going for. So I'm giving out that free advice because I really want to see people win, but you have to want to win on your own and you have to be authentic. This world is becoming too not authentic for me. And and AI is not going to help that.
So, what do you
Yep.
feel about AI in the greater economy? Talk about it.
What part of it? Because AI is a huge thing. That's
So,
like saying like how do I feel about tech? And tech is a big thing. But
so
what
for
part of
instance,
it?
um, you know, there's AI in photography, there's
Yep.
AI in videography, there's
Mhm.
AI in even music now.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you see the future revolving around that?
I think AI is great in my opinion. Like I have no problem with AI depending on how you use it or misuse it. But for me, AI has sped up a lot of my activities. Like the things that used to take me hours can take me minutes now. Like it used to take me hours to write like 10 tickets that we needed to address and only takes me like 5 to 10 minutes now, for example. So, depending how you use AI, I 100% support it. Now, when I see these AI influencers and AI content creators and stuff, because it's so obvious, I don't really care for it. I think once it becomes more authentic, like for video commercials, like if I saw two commercials that looked the exact same and one was AI and one wasn't, I don't care. Like I would not care because that just tells me that the brand knew how to use it to capture their audience. Like, but if I'm genuinely able to see that this is like AI generated, I think it bothers me just because it doesn't look authentic. And now it's like, how do you expect people to really, really tie into your brand? So it just depends. But I mean, I'm a fan of AI, and I think everyone should learn how to implement AI into your activities so that way you can get more of an output. So I'm a fan. I just don't like when it's misused. Like
Mm.
anything else, to be fair.
Anything else? Yeah, for sure. I definitely feel that one. I'm like I agree with you. The things I've been able to do this past 6 months is benefited from literally just a little bit of artificial intelligence help.
Yeah.
But I think for so long there's been a big gap
Yeah.
between, okay, let's say for instance Hollywood, right? Hollywood has these big budgets, they have the computers to
Yeah.
do the CGI and all stuff like that. AI has kind of helped leveling the playing field so that
Right.
way more people can get into something with less skill, but they're
Right.
being able to utilize the creativity that's in their brain.
You're
There's
right.
been a lot of times where it's like my brain can think of something, but I don't know how to do it yet. And in order to be able to do it, it may take
Yeah.
6 months of learning to do it. But now that 6 months can be
Exactly.
2 weeks. It could be a week. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I think it's just leveling the playing field to allow people to really utilize the amazing ability they have in their brain.
And I have to say, even as Black founders, I am very grateful for AI because there are a lot of things and a lot of conversations and a lot of groups and events and things that we still don't have access to. But the ability to use AI for the things that you're not good at stands out to me because, like you said, it does level out the playing field. And even down to being a creator, like some people might not know, hey, like I have no idea what I want to shoot content about. This is just what I'm passionate about. Okay, well, put in what you're passionate about and then let AI write you a few scripts and the settings and the directions and all that and just follow it.
And
Like,
then you'll let your creativity take over
yeah,
and you'll make your own unique thing. Because sometimes you just need a little push in the right direction. Because literally, when me and
yeah,
you talked about building Kahlab,
yep,
I didn't know where to go. I didn't know. You was just like, oh, just put it into Claude
yep.
and it's going to help you. And then
Yeah,
as I started putting it into it, I'm like, okay, cool. I see what I want. And I
exactly.
know it just kind of helped,
You
speed
just
things
have
up.
to start somewhere. Like, you genuinely just have to start somewhere, put in the reps, and then you will be able to identify, okay, here's a gap, I'm gonna fix this. And you can still use AI to walk you through how to identify and or fix that. Um, I am not the best like when it comes to content creation, and I always have told people that. But I have used AI for a lot of my ideas, including the street interviews and including how to go about them and what to, where or who to reach out to for certain things. So, like, and that was just an idea to, that I just concepted a few weeks ago. I had in my head that I wanted to do street interviews before, but I let it go. But now I'm like, okay, I put in my favorite street interview series, and I let AI kind of walk me through how to go about it.
Hmm.
And I genuinely feel like that is not only going to be a great way for people to understand what Gem is, because boom, their creators are talking about what they do, how much they make, and then boom, Gem is a platform where creators can find opportunities and know how much they would make. It's a perfect match. But in the same breath, AI is about to make me a whole bag because we're only 3 interviews in, and people have already asked to sponsor some stuff. So don't let your what could be a misconception for how you feel about AI deter you from making the bag and getting to the next level even in your own career.
So, as we just said, the idea to execution just went from this to
Yep.
this.
Exactly.
And that's truly how I feel like the future is going. It's going to pay transparency.
Yep.
It's going to be able to meet. Pay transparency is going to be able to meet people that you would never met because the globalization is happening. You know what I'm saying? And the speed to execution is just getting crazier. So
yeah, like that. The future should look like this too. The creator economy is not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. It's
expanding. It's getting bigger.
Doubling. Like I remember when I first was thinking about Gem, it was only worth $114 billion. Do you know how much it's worth now?
How much?
We're approaching $650 billion.
$650 billion.
And I started ideating Gem 2.5 years ago. That is huge. That's a huge amount, which to me tells me we are on our way to $1 trillion economy with the creator economy. So you have to get more inclusive and you have to share more opportunities because people are going to need more and more help. And I'll tell you one of the reasons why the creator economy is booming, because ads cost too much. Google ads, Bing ads, Facebook ads, all of those things cost a lot of money. So if you can be creative on how to get in front of your audience, and for brands, it might be actually more affordable to trust creators and work with trusted creators to get in front of their audience. They're going to do that. They're going to do that. Today, someone hit us up about a $50,000 budget they have to push this Twitch and DDG campaign. And I called up one of the agencies that you put me onto here and said, send me a roster. Let's see if we can try to get one of these DJs a bag because they want someone in the music scene. Those kind of connections don't have to be gate kept. You know, we still have the opportunity on the board, but just the fact that someone already has this roster of people that, you know, in the music world, I can make that like that social capital call is what I said. And that's why you got to focus on making those connections. I can make that connection and be like, hey, I actually know somebody who manages talent and is on Gem and has these people on Gem. Let me see if I can get that connection going, and I'll still have I still have on the platform, but it's like, oh snap, I got this. But those kind of conversations, you used to genuinely have to like work your way up crazy to get to those kind of bags. And that, I just think Hollywood, like actresses haven't even been able to make $50,000 from a movie until they got to the right casting agents and all this stuff. And now these opportunities can look you in your face on the platform. It's just how you sell yourself.
Mm-hmm. And that right there is the future of the creative economy. Again, my name is Kahlab Martin, founder of Kahlab, host for today.
And I'm Bree Flemings, founder of Jem Social. And I better see you on the platform.
Peace. Thank you so much.